2024 WWE Women's MVP. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah. I don't want to say this was an interesting list because I feel like our lists are probably somewhat similar.
Yeah.
The toughest time for me was figuring out where to rank who.
Yeah.
So that was maybe the toughest thing. I'll go get started with my honorable mentions first. We'll just get right into it.
Let's do it.
So my first honorable mention, I only have two.
Two? I got a few, yeah.
So I have Chelsea Green, which I feel like that goes without saying. It's Chelsea Green, the maximizer of minutes. She just steals the show every time she's on. She's entertaining. She's fun. Even the backstage stuff or even stuff you see on social media, little TikTok, things like that. Love Chelsea Green. And then I put Bianca Belair. Now, I didn't put Bianca in my top 5 here, but for me, almost even the honorable mention, I was like, well, does Bianca really deserve that? I think she's had a disappointing year for me, but it's Bianca Belair. Feel like I just have to put her in there.
Yeah, I mean, MVP doesn't mean like the top 5 women we think are best in the ring and stuff like that, right? It's like it's the conglomeration of their storytelling throughout the year and their in-ring success and their work. It's the overall wrestler package, right? I had a bunch of honorable mentions too. Chelsea Green was in mine. I kind of had her and Tiffany Stratton combined. I just kind of put that as like next in line MVPs, like probably going to be talking about them, especially like Tiffy. Probably in 2025. I put Lyra Valkyria. Obviously didn't do a lot, but that little stint of like Queen of the Ring right after she got called up, her in-ring work was so spectacular that she had a spurt there where it looked like she could have been high up on this list. I did end up putting Io Sky at my 6th slot. I think that Damage Control had a little bit of an iffy year. Io Sky obviously started the year as champion. She did the job for Bayley, and that's great. But that was up until April, and then after that, they kind of got sent back down to the tag team division. She's getting back up there again into the title scene right now, but that does feel like a buffer spot for Rhea and Liv and stuff, so I kept her out of it. But I'll go on to my number 5 because you already mentioned her. My number 5 was Bianca Belair. I did that because you're right. I think a lot of people, Bianca fans, are probably going to say that 2024 was a disappointing year for her because she was relegated to the tag team scene. It was for a purpose. It was for Jade. Her job this year was to try to make Jade a star in any way, shape, or form. And through that, I think that they have had the most relevant title reign that the women's tag team titles have ever had. Like, I think that while Bianca can definitely be doing solo amazing stuff, right? She's also been a part of the team, and her being such a well-known character has catapulted the women's tag team titles to mean something for once. Like, finally, I feel like the year of 2024 was a good year for the tag team titles there. And because of that, I went ahead and gave Bianca the number 5. And then, of course, I think she's the best talent in the world in the ring when it comes to the women's division.
Yeah, I definitely can see why. I think it is, fair to say that this year is probably the best year in terms of those tag titles that they've had since they came in. That feud kind of with them and Chelsea and Piper and Unholy Union I thought was really good. It's just one of those things when you see Bianca Belair, you expect that the main event scene most times. And like you said, she had a job. She did her job wonderfully. That's why she just missed my spot. My number 5, though, is going to be somebody you already mentioned, Io Sky.
Switch it up.
So we flip-flopped it there.
Flip-flop.
I think it is going to be interesting because of your honorable mentions. I think our lists are going to probably differ a little bit here.
Ooh.
But that's good.
Ooh.
So my number 5 is Io, like you said. Started out really strong, kind of went through a lull a little bit there, and then she kind of seemed to be the plan B, the backup for when Rhea got hurt. She's kind of in that scene of like upper mid card, lower title tier, but you can always put Io in the ring with any women's wrestler. It's going to be 5 stars. It's going to be great. Arguably the star of the War Games match, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah. That's the thing about Io. I feel like she always ends up being the star of whatever match she's in. My thing with her has always been, this is a personal list, right? Like, This is our MVPs.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I just think that through the language barrier, and it's nothing that she can control. I'm a guy who's big on your character, and Io Sky's character is great, but WWE has always had a hard time kind of bringing out the best out of the character from people who don't speak English as their primary language, and so that part is a little bit missing to me. Like in all of this, like I know when she enters the ring, banger. But like, what story am I gonna get? Because she's remember at the beginning of the year or after WrestleMania, you also forget she kind of had that like Io going crazy tantrum storyline that just went nowhere.
It just kind of fell off
when Dakota Kai got injured. So that kind of
it would be interesting to see kind of moving forward how they could kind of develop her and Kairi Sane. Individually and together, or apart, however they want to do it. They just give a little bit more character. I think that would be fantastic. And I think that's kind of why she's not higher. I think you could argue she's like top 2, top 3 in ring, depending on how you want to order it. It's just give me a little bit more character, and she's right up there.
100%. I do want to kind of backtrack a little bit to honorable mentions. 2 people that I'm keeping off my list that I do want to at least mention. Becky Lynch. She kind of semi-retired. We don't really know what the story is there, but she had a good beginning of the year and kind of carried the title a little bit after Rhea got injured, did the job for Liv. And then Bayley, people are going to say that like the first 4 months were great for Bayley. You're right. It was a great 4 months. Then she became champion. I think it all went downhill from there. So I love her as well, but not going to make my list. But number 4 for me, I am going to give it to Roxanne Perez, NXT. And that's probably going to be a controversial opinion because Roxanne is a very bipolar, she's
very polarizing.
Very polarizing, that's the right word, character for a lot of people. I think a lot of the NXT crowd either loves her or hates her, which is a good thing if you're a wrestler. We love that type of stuff. One of the main reasons I gave it to Roxanne is because I think that 2024 was the year of the boom of the NXT women's renaissance. Like, I think that entire division is arguably the best women's roster that any brand has ever had in wrestling at one time. Like, they are just star-studded from head to toe, and she's their leader. She's the champion. She's put on matches against all of them, right? And if you're going to do that and you're going to be the leader of that sort of roster and put on the type of matches she's had with all of them, I have to throw you into my list here. It's got to be Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't put any NXT women on my list, but I guess maybe an honorable mention is just the NXT women because, like you said, most stacked roster, some of the best matches, some of the best feuds.
Give it 3 years, man. And the whole MVP thing will be all women who are currently in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For me, it's just a little too soon for some of them, but I mean, you can turn that on every week.
It is still developmental, right? Technically, it's still a developmental.
Quote unquote.
It's technically still a developmental program. I had to.
You had to. My number 4 here might be a little controversial.
Oh, no.
Going Liv Morgan here at my 4 spot.
4.
I really thought, like I said, I really kind of struggled in terms of realistically 1 through 4. I thought Liv, kind of like what you said with Becky, kind of here at least applies to me for Liv, at least maybe a little bit longer, maybe 2/3 of the year. 2/3 of the year, Liv Morgan was my MVP, and it was not even close. I thought, the Becky stuff, finally getting that, the beginning of the Rhea stuff, the SummerSlam stuff, the Dom Liv stuff, I thought was fantastic. The problem with that is after that for me has kind of been, I don't want to say I'm sick of Liv on TV, but we know what we get every week. There's been no new developments. I think her and Raquel have kind of not worked as well together as maybe the crowd would have liked, or at least I would have liked. But I can't not have Liv on my list, especially with the start of the year with how great Liv did. So you look at it and it's just like that post SummerSlam into even Survivor Series, she continues to just kind of run from Rhea. I would like a little bit of a change with her. Just haven't got that.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you said is totally fine. You're going to hear more about her on my list down the line.
I'm sure she's going to make the list. Yeah,
yeah. But in terms of you acknowledging the downfall, I agree. I think that the last third of this year has been a lot of, we know what we're getting every time Liv Morgan comes out, and not in a good way. It's also been one of those things where she's been holding the title, and the title has taken a backseat to a lot of other stuff, which feels bad. Like when it's the World Championship, that always feels bad. Yeah, we'll get to her a little bit more later, though. Yeah. Number 3 for me, Nia Jax.
Ooh.
I'm giving it to Nia Jax. I think that she deserves to be on this list specifically for her turnaround, because I think that she had a real bad story for a lot of years there. It was just kind of not being able to move in the ring, having, being known for being dangerous in-ring worker, injuring a lot of people. And then she gets released for that. They bring her back. Then she tears her ACLs. Like, things could have gone south for Nia Jax in a lot of ways. Instead, she decided to just put the work in, and it is absolutely shown this year. Her in-ring has developed so much, man. She is so much better in the ring, a lot more confident in herself in the ring. Her opponents, I feel like, are a lot more confident in her ability to protect them because they're allowing her to do a bunch more stuff, which is huge in the ring. And then I just think that her title reign has been great. It's been like that dominating heel. She has no problem fighting people on SmackDowns. Like, she has fought on your regular old Friday night many times, even for the belt. She's fought Naomi a couple times for it. So I just think it's time to give Nia Jax her flowers, because there was a point where it looked like it could have gone south, and Nia Jax could have been a thing of the past.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't argue with that. My number 3 spot,
Nia Jax.
Wrong.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Wrong. Well, I got him with the fake. Rhea Ripley here. I fought really hard to go back between two.
I thought she's going to come through here and destroy everything.
Riptide me through this table. How am I not? How am I not number 1?
You say the name. That's like Beetlejuice, bro. You say Rhea Ripley enough times, she going to come and riptide you.
Yeah, exactly. It's Rhea Ripley. Not much else needs to be said here. I could have put her at 2, but for me personally, not really of her own doing, but more WWE's doing. I felt like she just continued to get the upper hand so much against people that, like, okay, show a little bit of weakness here, show a little bit of reason for me to be like, okay, maybe Rhea's down and out, and watch her overcome those odds. So for me, I have her at 3. It's kind of almost the same thing with Bianca. Like, it's Rhea Ripley. She's going to make your list some way, somehow. It's just a matter of where you want to put her.
Yeah, that's why I have her at number 2. I do. I have her at number 2. I'm going to... I hope people watch this and realize we're not such big Rhea Ripley haters. That's like our main critique, is that we hate Rhea Ripley in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No, I mean, you can hate her booking, right? And that's what we critique. We like the Terror Twins weeks of her and Damian just walking through doors, destroying everybody in their path. Especially when Rhea Ripley was destroying male Judgment Day members, like when she was just running through the tag champions every week and rip-tiding Dom. It felt like, okay, well, we just put the tag titles on her, right? We said that multiple times. But in terms of just Rhea Ripley, she is the most over woman in all of wrestling. She is an absolute treat in the ring. Her promo work is getting much, much better, even though I do think that they write her a little blandly. I think it does turn into just, I'm Rhea Bloody Ripley a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think they do that on purpose.
Yeah.
I think she has the ability to be better or do more. I just think that's what they...
Yeah, I mean, I just think that she's been a part of one of the better rivalries of the year, Rhea and Liv, and every time she walks through a door, it just blows the roof off that place. Like, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin for the women. It doesn't matter what we think at home. The people love it. It puts people in chairs. She sells the merch. She is she's an absolute star attraction, and it's just hard to argue it. She is, at the end of the day, she's just Rhea Bloody Ripley, and you see her enter a ring and enter an arena, and you're just like, okay, yeah, I believe she can defeat anybody in the world. Yep. So, yeah, I'm behind her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not number 1 on my list because one thing that we didn't say, a little injury plague this year. A lot of injuries for her.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, more so than... That's got to come into account some way, somehow. So it's kind of like, real MVP voting. Like, it's not their fault that they got injured, but they did,
Yeah, they did.
My number 2, somebody you already mentioned. Nia Jax.
Oh, I thought, okay.
Nia Jax is going to be my number 2.
Who the hell going to be your number 1?
You'll wait and find out here. So my number 2 is going to be Nia Jax. Like you said, could have really been a bad year. I still remember when she came out 30 in the Rumble and everybody was like, oh, dear God, we got to go through this again. This is going to be awful.
Exactly.
Going to be terrible.
Yep.
And now you look at it, you fast forward and you're like, man, I really actually enjoy Nia in the ring. She's dominating. She's been safe. She hasn't injured anybody this year. Her, even on the mic, like, has steadily increased. There's no more like my whole memes. I mean, you still get those from time to time.
And even when there are, it's like she means to. She leans into that stuff every once in a while.
Absolutely. And I think, like you said, she just has this new confidence that she didn't really have before. And so it's like, you know what? going to give it to her.
Yeah.
She's going to be my number 2.
No, I mean, I hope everybody has that opinion. You got to reward good work and effort and people that you can tell like put the time in.
Mm-hmm.
She literally was coming off of a double ACL surgery.
Yeah.
And I'm quitting. I'm laying on the sofa.
And like you said, to your credit, like the match quality, like you can see the matches, like just moves that they do or moves she tries to do or moves that her opponents try to do. Like we weren't getting that in previous years.
Right.
You know, they try new things. It might not look the best or they might, mess it up a little bit, but they're at least trying.
Yeah. She did Hurricane Rana a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
They multiple times she's allowed women to power bomb her from the top ropes. It's like you were not seeing that 3-4 years ago with her at all. Well, I guess we're going to my number 1 then.
Number 1.
I mean, when I made this list, I was really trying to get creative with it. You've been a little bit more creative. But I was sitting there logically thinking to myself, like, who do you think is the MVP? Don't just put on some facade. Like, who is the MVP? And like it or not, I think your MVP of 2024 for the women has to be Liv Morgan. I think it does. She carried the torch after Rhea's injury. After Mania, Becky did the job for her. And since then, I think she has been phenomenal. You could say the last couple months have been a little bit rough, but she carried that women's division for so long on Raw. For Raw there for a while, the women's division was bland booking, man. Bland. And Liv Morgan did her absolute best. And I think that she's been a part of an extremely entertaining roller coaster storyline. The dirty Dom stuff, the will she won't, or will he won't he with the when it was the love triangle with Rhea and Liv, and that whole story was phenomenal. And then when the did turn, and then we got the Liv Dom interaction that has just been spectacular ever since. But I get the playing devil's advocate here. You're like, well, Will, you're talking about a bunch of stuff. You're not talking about her in-ring or her title reign or anything like that. You are right. So that might be just a testament to WWE's overall booking of the women's title picture this year, because you could say that Nia's title picture has been better, but I think the overall Rhea, Liv, Dom story has been a little bit more entertaining for longer in terms of the Liv Morgan stuff, to where I give her the edge on this one. So I just think it has to be Liv Morgan this year.
Yeah, my number 1, probably going to come as a shock, but
no way.
It's always Tiffy time.
Oh my God.
Putting her at number 1.
Number 1?
MVP. I don't care. It's a personal list. I don't care. Let's fight about it. You look at it. You talked about Raw, how it was kind of carried in terms of like Liv Morgan, in terms of carrying for Rhea. Tiffany, at least to me, and it's I had Nia at number 2. I had her at number 1 now. To me, that SmackDown side of things, like it was even worse probably than the Raw side in terms of the women. Like there was Naomi penciled in there and Chelsea Green and Mii Chen, but this year was the year of Tiffy time. Even though we still have not got that cash in yet. Don't know when that's coming.
That's the thing. If she would have had a successful cash in, I would have let you. I would say that she'd be on this list.
And to me, I don't even want the successful cash in. Like I want the failed cash in. So in terms of like the in-ring stuff, like some people might not even have known who Tiffany was at the beginning of the year. You like, okay, you watch a little bit of NXT. When we went, I mean, that was what, March-ish?
Yeah.
April-ish? We were chanting for Tiffany and nobody else really was. And it was like, oh, okay, nobody else kind of knows who this is. And to see her kind of just go leaps and bounds, head and shoulders above. She was the star, arguably. I talked about Io. She was the other star of the War Games match. She comes out pretty often, almost every week. And to me, she's a maximizer of minutes like Chelsea Green. She's got her character down fantastic. When she's in the ring, I'm like, God, she's so good in the ring. It's a little biased. Yeah, I don't really care. I'm picking Tiffany Stratton. And I'm not mad about it.
What am I supposed to say to this?
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a Tiffy hater. I love Tiffy. She's the best. But
He's going to be like, how can you put her number 1? Well,
no titles.
Because I ranked them. Well, she got that briefcase.
No titles. The briefcase.
She was the winner in probably, it's not even probably, it's the most entertaining women's ladder match of all time.
But you talk about, that's true. But that's one match. And she was the star in the War Games match. I'll give you that. But so was Io. And even Rhea, I thought, did phenomenal in that match. I thought the Riptides and stuff were awesome. But she didn't win a title.
Nope. But if she had, she would defend it more than Liv has, I would say.
She didn't win a title.
Nope.
And I would say that the Tiffany, will she, won't she cash in has been used and repeated to death more than the Rhea Ripley stuff.
I don't think that's the
Every
case.
PLE.
I don't think that's the case because Rhea Ripley comes out every PLE, every Raw, every SmackDown, Saturday night main event. She
Church.
Impact.
She came to my church.
She comes out on NXT and AEW.
She riptided my pastor.
Exactly.
Bad stuff. Funeral. She came out.
And I think it really one thing that. Yeah, you look at the accomplishments, and Tiffany only has the Money in the Bank. But one thing that I would say is, like, people, like, really hated Tiffany. But at the beginning, or at least people were like, I can't stand her. She's slowly kind of doing, like, how Dom is.
Yeah.
She's getting everybody on her side. I feel like that's got to be some credit.
I also don't think that her mic skills are par.
Well, to be honest, I don't know if WWE has really showcased women's mic skills this year. Yeah. I think everybody's just kind of, like, bland, here you go, say these two things and say your catchphrase and you're good to go, and that's kind of all we've gotten.
That's true. She needs a welcome to Monday Night Tiffy. That's what we need from her.
I don't know.
Everybody's got an opening to Monday Night Raw shtick.
Yeah, I don't know what you call it though.
The Monday Night Tiffy, Monday Tiffy night. I don't know.
It needs to be Tuesday Night Toodles. That's what it needs to be.
Don't give him that.
That was good.
Well, I mean, congratulations to you. I think you are definitely going to be the only person that has Tiffany Stratton at number one on his 2024 MVPs.
Like you said, you thought about it a little, like, how can you get a little out there? Like, for me, it wasn't really out there, but I just found myself getting tired of the Rhea stuff and the Liv stuff as the last few months. So, like, I don't have a problem with your list, but for me personally, I was just like, God, I can't keep doing the same shtick, Monday, Friday.
We need a little bit more title defenses, I think, from all side of the women's division come next year. And we got 2 more titles to also throw in there. So next year's MVP list is going to get a little spicy because we're going to have those mid-cards wrapped in there as well.
It's going to be real good.
Cannot wait. But those are our top 5 women's MVPs for WWE Wrestling in 2024. Mm-hmm. Anyway, share your list in the comments. We want to see if you agree, disagree with us, and if you can tell him how wrong he is on that one.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's what it's going to be.
Follow us on all of our socials at codwrestlepod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, etc. Just so you guys know, we're recording a bunch of stuff early because your boy will be across the world in Germany for 2 weeks. So a lot of this is pre-recorded stuff. We're trying to get as much out there as we can for all you guys to keep the content coming, but just be aware that if we get some stuff wrong, it's because, well,
yeah, it's going to be crazy when we talk about Tiffy's failed cash and she stacks Liv and Nia and becomes double champ, I tell you.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.